Jake Paul is a boxer and social media influencer. And I guess he's sort of making himself Trump aligned. And the reason I care about this is that there are a lot of young people, those who are just becoming of voting age and those who soon will be of voting age, who follow Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul and almost see them as pseudo deities whose views on any issue, including politics, should be listened to very closely. So when Jake Paul appeared on Fox News last night with Jesse Waters, and he was asked about the state of the country, I was very curious. Now I'm going to play for you here. It's a couple minutes. This is really tough to watch, but it's also absolutely hilarious. See if you can make heads or tails out of Jake Paul explaining what's wrong in the country and how he would fix it. It is so incoherent that even Jesse Waters is kind of like, what is this guy talking about? This is really wild and wacky stuff, but it's representative of how Trump won in 2016. I'm going to explain this, and there's actually a really important lesson and a takeaway here that we must understand if we hope to win politically in the future. And it has everything to do with Jake Paul is visibly confused here. Some people are saying he seems concussed from boxing. He's not making any sense, but he's using certain words in the way that Trump uses random words that trigger a visceral reaction in people, and they get a certain portion of the electorate to say, that sounds good. I'm going to vote for that. Okay, so let's listen to Jake Paul's analysis of the state of the country. And while at the same time we see it for what it is, a completely unhinged rant, I'm then going to give you my opinion as to why this sort of thing actually does convince voters.
What are the solutions you want for? What's the problem?
Man, there's a lot to name, and that's not my.
Yeah, we only have a couple minutes.
That's not my necessarily area of expertise, but I know people are struggling with jobs. Mortgages are too much for people to afford. Inflation, prices are going up. Is minimum wage rising?
So it's already just like, what is he talking about? But try to stick with it.
Are having trouble paying off and going to school, and then they're feeling like, hey, I have this college degree, but what has this gotten me? I believe there's a massive problems with our food. The stuff that they're putting into our bodies and allowing at grocery stores is causing massive health problems. I think there needs to be a massive conversation with the National Institution of Health. And that's why I created W, quite literally, just, you got to try this stuff. It smells delicious.
So now he realizes he's off the rails, so he pulls out a body spray. But again, just try to stick with it.
But I wanted to make a better for you product that took out all the weird stuff for young men and boys across the world, because it matters what we're putting in and on our bodies. And so definitely there's a lot of things
Jake,
to work on.
Was that just body spray?
Yes, this is W body spray,
okay,
deodorant, and body wash. So I've been working on this for 2 years, and it's available in Walmart nationwide right now.
All right, you got to send over the skincare line to Primetime. We'll sample it and we'll give it a review. Your brother was just with Trump. Let's watch the clip. You explain what was going on here.
And where down we
What was that?
Yeah, no, I think my brother's having Trump on his podcast, and I think that's what's important to young voters is the president showing up, speaking their mind, saying how they're going to help. And my brother's invited Biden onto his podcast, the last I've heard. And, let's see what happens.
Okay, so this is a completely incoherent rant. There are some who reacted by saying he must be concussed from boxing. But that rant tells us so much about how Trump won. Let me explain. Remember how in 2016, Trump would slightly less incoherently than now rant about trade, China, farming, wall, immigrants, jobs. None of it was coherent in any serious way. None of it delineated any kind of deep understanding of the issues. But voters who similarly don't have a deep understanding of the issues, heard the right buzzwords. When you stuff enough of the right keywords in there that people realize, even if it's incoherent, I'm recognizing those words and they sort of connect to things I'm aware of. Inflation, eggs, gas prices, China, tariffs, masks, whatever, right? That's how you end up attracting folks who are on the periphery of the political system, are barely paying attention, but they know enough to know, hey, there's this thing called voting, which I could do. Does anybody out there interest me enough to actually go out and do it? And so I don't think we should laugh off these kind of deranged rantings, because these are the deranged rantings that allowed Trump to pull in people who had not been politically active before because they heard some of the words they were hoping to hear. So I ignore the impact and influence of people like Jake and Logan Paul getting involved in the political space at your own risk, because there are those who are maybe going to vote, maybe not, who then hear Jake Paul confusedly talk about the minimum wage and prices, and they go, man, you know what? I should get out there and vote for Trump because eggs are expensive, and I don't know, it sounds like the right thing to do. Ignoring these sorts of things is a very bad idea. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Many of us have bad habits we want to kick. Finding motivation can be hard, especially when life gets heavy and the bad habit seems to be what's keeping you sane. Thankfully, Fume is here to help you prioritize your health in a way that will not disrupt your daily life. Introducing Fume's award-winning flavored air device that is quickly becoming the leading alternative to smoking and to vaping. The point of Fume is to satisfy the hand-to-mouth fixation of some of these bad habits, which makes healthy change feel even easier. The Fume device is sleek, it's sophisticated, you can fidget with it. There is no nicotine here, only natural ingredients like plant extracts and oils. There's no electronics, there's no vapor. There is an amazing selection of flavors, from the popular crisp mint to the adventurous black licorice and cinnamon hearts. Fume is delicious, it's subtle, you can keep using it without feeling overwhelmed. So start your journey today. Go to tryfume.com and use the code PACMAN to get a free gift with your journey pack, which includes a Fume device, 3 core flavors of your choice, and a cleaning kit. If you are struggling to get rid of that bad habit, try Fume. The link is in the description.